Welcome to Medium Ghetto Podcast with your host Jamar. Today we got a great episode today. But before we get on the topic of the episode, I'm gonna bring in Kendall. What's going on, Kendall?
What's up, people? I hope everyone's having a good night.
Yeah,
Or
man, I'm
day,
having a
morning.
great night as well. A very one of those very rough days at work.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, man. Don't be good at your job. That's all I can say, because they'll try to keep you when you're trying to get another promotion. The argument today was, do we lose you or do we keep you because you're good at your job?
If it helps at all, that also sounds like the conversation you were having the last time we talked about it.
Yeah,
in
it
the
got
same
to the
spot.
point. They pretty much said I had to wait for a promotion until they cover my position.
They say we're going to leave you right where you at. You're going to get the chill.
Man, I need to check.
Would you have to train someone?
I don't have to train nobody. I hope I don't.
I mean, if you're going to be replaced, somebody got to do it.
That's true. Oh, wait, we got Troy here. What's up, Troy?
Hey, my guy.
Oh. It's all right, man. We understand you're in different time zone.
Yeah.
Daylight savings time.
And daylight savings time probably got us messed up, you know.
I mean, my time don't change. Everybody else's time changes.
Yeah, Arizona doesn't have the change.
Yeah.
Right.
So I gotta adjust to everybody else, but it's fine. It's fine.
Damn. Well, anyway, we're just checking on each other. But with that being said, let's get straight to the episode, right? So today it's going to be oversexualization in America, right?
Okay.
So what sparked this current conversation for me personally is because I'm tired of like the oversexualization during ads, during Instagram, during everything. Like I'm getting so numb to it. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like big booty hoes everywhere.
That's making no number super difficult, doesn't it?
It's like it's not even making it hard anymore. At this point, I'm just like, damn, where the flat booty Jones at?
I mean, yeah, after you pass a certain threshold, it just becomes like it's like an addiction. I'm just numb now. This doesn't even make me happy anymore.
Exactly.
I don't know, because someone mentioned that recently about like having too much sex in like shows or like movies and stuff like that, or like not necessarily needing it. And a part of me is like, yes, but at the same time, I mean, people be fucking. Like at the end of the day, like people actually have sex. If we're gonna represent real life, then like represent real life. You know what I'm saying? If that's the idea, like I get not surrounding a plot or something around it. You know, like the movie Sex Drive. I mean, it was literally just to go and meet a girl and fuck. Like that was the whole point of the movie. So, you know, I get like not making that the plot, but like don't act like it don't happen. If that makes sense.
Well, let's go back to the movies. Like I don't know your ages, but I'm 32, right? So PG-13 movies were different back then. So what y'all think is a PG-13 movie used to be my rated R.
I don't know if that's true. A lot of the standards haven't really changed that much.
Yeah, I would say the biggest change is just like movies try not to be purposely offensive, but for the most part, like I don't know if the threshold has necessarily changed.
Nah, it was like no sexual endos or nothing in shows back then.
Nah, don't say that. That's completely.
Oh no, I'm about to say because literally Cow and Chicken is all about.
I'll say PG movies.
Yeah, all of them. Whether you're talking about like old school Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon.
Because Ren and Stimpy was I can't say that. That one was the one right there. Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, these all had like crazy, and Johnny Bravo existed.
Exactly.
I mean, remember Dexter and like how his mom was animated?
Hey man, I didn't even notice that as a kid. All right.
I mean, even like I just said, Cow and Chicken. There was like literal ass eating jokes on there, like, or like,
exactly.
The carpet munchers.
We got overstimulated. We got like what was it? Subliminal messages. Now everybody eating butt.
Yeah, this is
So I
this
think
is this is old. This is super old. Oh my god, what's the one show with like they're like squirrels or something? They're like black and white, like rodents. They're humanized. There's like a joke where one of them is holding the other, and they say fingerprints. And it's supposed to be like a pun on fingering Prince, like the artist. This is from like
yeah. It was on Animaniacs.
Animaniacs.
Yes.
I remember that.
That like that's
And
an
I
it's
stand
like,
corrected
the
in my
fingerprints,
in
but
my
then Prince
childish
was standing there
nostalgia.
like,
that's one. Like it depends how old you're also going, because like you say like what cartoons did I grow up with? I'm thinking Ed, Edd n Eddy, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Kids Next Door. These all have like not adult themes in them, but if a parent is watching too, there's like, hey, this one's for you. Like it exists in all of them.
Yeah, like they had to make sure like parents were able to watch it with their kids because
the trap is like this new generation. No matter what it is, whether you're talking about like television, music, movies, healthcare, education, everything has changed. But there's always the argument of like, oh well, back in my day, it didn't used to be like this. It's like no, you just weren't paying attention.
Yeah, at this point, if you say that, you're wrong. Because back in the day, it was kind of like that. But it's more. I think for kids, they can sneak it a lot more. You know what I mean? Let's say I was doing like a.
Kids knew. Do you remember music class doing Puff the Magic Dragon?
Say again?
Have you heard the song Puff the Magic Dragon?
Oh hell no!
In like a lot of middle schools, this was like a choir song they would do, and it was literally about like smoking weed.
Oh my god!
Like,
that's at least clever. But what I'm seeing on these kids' TikToks is crazy. It's what I'm seeing on kids' TikToks at like 12. I'm seeing like you can see what kids like and the algorithm changes for them. I'm looking at screens in this summer program I'm doing to help build character in kids, and all I'm seeing is big booties bouncing, bruh.
Yeah, flashback to like our childhood. If we had the same access to like TikTok,
we had BT Uncut.
So yeah, imagine like "Lollipop" by Lil Wayne.
That's all it was.
A popular TikTok song.
Yeah, all I had was.
I'll say the biggest difference is just more so. I think back then it was innuendo or like secretive. Like they said it low key. The only difference is now ain't no.
No,
people now don't have time. It's not low key. It's directly straight.
That's all it is.
There's no time for. Well, like so, like you know what I'm saying. Like back then, like I'm trying to think of a song. I can't think of one specifically right now, but it would just be like, yeah, clearly he's talking about fucking, but it's like in such a way that he's saying all this other shit but that. Whereas now it's just straight up like, hey, let's fuck. I ain't got time to romanticize you with these words. I ain't trying to sound smooth. We fucking or that's the biggest difference. But I think it's the same energy. It's just more direct now.
What
Snapchat me that pussy if it's cool.
What about in like the mainstream media?
Yeah, you have to narrow that down. Mainstream media can be a lot of different stuff.
Oh, definitely not Candace Owens, but let me think. Let's go to hip hop.
Yeah, that's a good one to start. Usher exists.
We'll start with hip hop.
I mean, it's kind of like what I said, but honestly, I don't think they've ever really cared about covering it up. So it just depends on the artist.
I think if anything, it's that a lot of the drivers for it now are like women. Women did before, like were popular in rap and would get popular in like rap hip hop circles, but now like the people spearheading rap and hip hop, like you can't name the top 10 right now without naming at least a handful of women. And it was probably the same back then, but beyond the top 10 down to like the top 100, there's probably a lot more women now than there were before. So when you bring them all into the mainstream too, and a lot of it is like empowerment and like, hey, I can be sexy and educated. I can be sexy and a decent rapper. I can be sexy and a decent like bioengineer. Doesn't Meg Thee Stallion have like a degree in like some kind of bioscience? It's not like these people are not doing the work on the side, and then also just like flaunting themselves in the bodies they work for. Lil Kim also existed,
and you can be. Yeah.
So you don't think like, all right, do you think, let's go to self-image. Do you think, like, how does that, like, how does oversexualization affect self-image?
I don't think there is such a thing as over-sexualization in adult media. If we're talking like children or like teen-based media, no, but we never talk about like, oh, there's too much violence in these movies and TV shows and video games. There are people who say it, but they're a very small fraction of the community who misappropriate all of like the causes of widespread violence to like video games and stuff. So I don't think we
you
can
don't
say
think Grand Theft Auto is causing all these mass shootings?
I don't think Grand Theft Auto is the reason kids are walking into schools doing shootings.
Because it's ultimately because games are movie shows, they're not there to raise your child, you are. So it's like it's kind of up to you to kind of put it in their heads like, hey, don't go and rob somebody's car, you know, or beat the shit out of somebody with a bat. This is just a game. If they get it in their head, you ain't teach that, and they get it in their head, it's something going on at home.
Whoa! Are you like saying parents have responsibility to raise their kids?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Now I know this is a concept. I get it. It's a concept. It's wild. But yes. Raise your children.
And not to mention like 30, 40, 50 years ago, it wasn't like video games because they weren't as popular yet. It was comic books. The American Comics Authority comes in and says, hey, this is the reason kids are getting violent in schools. This is the reason crimes are going up. And it's like Batman running around beating up criminals, Superman punching Nazis and stuff. Like, no, comics aren't the reason.
It's never going to be like... It's never going to be, oh, we fucked up your economy.
There's nothing wrong with punching Nazis. That's why I mentioned it. It was violence that was glorified in comic books. And when you actually pull it out, it's like, okay, maybe superheroes committing like violence against people who are also doing violence, just big good guy versus big bad guy. It doesn't mean someone's going to go out and think like, I'm going to punch the hell out of my bullies today. It might give them the confidence to like protect themselves or defend themselves, but kids aren't shooting schools because of Superman, and they're not shooting schools because of Call of Duty either. So the whole sexuality thing, if you're introduced to sex pretty early, it can like not even through like molestation or anything, but if you're introduced to it through like finding somebody's like stash, it will probably have detrimental effects on you for the entire duration of your life until you seek help. But it's not to say that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion going up on stage doing their thing are like the reason little boys are losing their shit anymore. Like that's not.
What about little girls though? Do you don't think like if a girl's not built like Megan Thee Stallion, you don't think like she has like self-image issues?
I don't think we can put self-image like responsibility on artists who just take care of their bodies. Like if you were to look at y'all know Tyla, the water girl?
Yeah.
No. She's like, make me sweat, make me hot. You haven't seen the girl that performs that song? She's blowing up. She was on Jimmy Fallon and everything.
Yeah.
Rip. Okay. But she's very, very beautiful. Super duper skinny relative to like Meg Thee Stallion, who's like hailed as being thicker. There are a lot of different body images, and your relation to body image is always going to come from how your parents raised you, just like Troy said. It's never going to be like, oh man, Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B are so like this, that, the other. I want to be that. That will exist. But to temper and reel it in is the responsibility of the parents to tell them like, hey, not everyone's going to be built like that.
So you think we should? So you're saying that it can happen, but it's up to people to stay grounded so they won't get hit with like maybe lower self-esteem.
It's going to happen, but there's going to be a vast majority of influences that we have to push outside of the celebrities and stuff, because we can't tell people to not be attractive. We can't tell people, men specifically, to not be like built up and strong and healthy. Like if you were to cast He-Man for a movie, and if I take my kid to go see He-Man and he's like, Daddy, I want to look like that. I mean, steroids exist, but otherwise it's not really like it's not going to be a realistic thing for an 8-year-old to look like He-Man. It's not likely for an 18-year-old to look like He-Man, no matter how long he's been training. But the fact of the matter is that if you instill them with like healthy values to begin with, they're not going to get their joy by comparing themselves to other people in the first place.
Yeah.
All right, I got a little comparison for me, right?
Do it.
There's one celebrity. I'm happy he's gone.
Oh no.
My favorite celebrity, I'm happy he's gone. So Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And this is why. All right. I could, if I brought my girl to a Michael Jackson show and she did this shit the first 5 minutes he got it on stage. You see the Jones when he just got on stage and opened his shirt and like bitches were just fainting.
Yeah, what about it?
Oh, it's just
Would you
sit there
would you able
screaming
take
for like
would you be able
15,
to
20
take your
minutes at a
significant
time.
other home?
Where's going?
Like, would you feel like would you feel confident that you don't make your girl faint or your man faint
That's not just
like a Michael
I mean, yeah,
Jackson does?
because it's. I mean, so that's actually kind of a little bit into my next point or what I was gonna bring up. Individualism, understanding like yourself, just so that you understand other people. I wouldn't feel away because it's like I'm not Michael Jackson. So unfortunately, that the same nigga that can tour and buy whatever the fuck he wants and dances his ass off has written and sung. Go ahead, baby. Like, because it's like I'm not that. I am who I am. But he is who he is, and I got you for whatever the fucking reason that I got you for whatever I am. But I'm not going.
But
like,
you ain't got me because you ain't fainting towards me. But when Michael Jackson got on stage, we paid for $500 tickets. You fainted.
Yeah, if you're not getting that experience, bring her flowers, chocolates to the next time you pick her up for like a date or something, and make sure it's chocolate that she likes. You ain't gonna see her faint, but you gonna see her water.
I'm about to say, honestly, I don't think you want. If you do want somebody to faint, maybe get someone with narcolepsy. I don't see fainting in everyday life too often. So, but no, like, just with the whole body thing, real quick, like individualism, like it's fine to like look at a certain body type and want that, or like try to work towards it, but everybody's body doesn't even work the fucking same. Like what one person can do for their body will work this way, will completely not work for you, and you'll have to do something else. So it's like I think people just have to get more into their individuality. Like literally, it's just about getting into yourself, and the more you're into yourself, the less everybody else's self gets to you. You know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I kind of want to be more like them guys you see at the pool that just take their shirt off knowing they ain't got nothing going on.
I mean, that's
why
just
the fuck not?
That's pure confidence, man.
It's not, or confidence is nothing but
it's freedom.
Yeah. If you go to the gym enough, you're eventually going to be like, oh, I can like consistently go to the gym without like feeling weird about people looking at me. There will be people who always feel a little weird about it. But I mean, there's also always going to be people who deal with anxiety and like depression. You're always going to have like the looking over your shoulder to see if someone's catching up to you moment. But it's really important to just realize everyone's on their own track. They're not trying to pass you. They're just running their own race.
And healthy competition is cool sometimes too. That helps you.
Yeah, but looking over your shoulder every 6 seconds is not healthy.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I think like also with the gym, like going back to that, like you always will feel small. If you don't get the right mindset going to the gym, you will never be good enough going to the gym.
Yeah, of course.
I realized that. Like even like I always felt fat. And I was in the best shape of my life.
Yeah, you go to the gym and see a guy who's been there for like 34 years, and he's in the best shape of his life. And now you're like, dang, I lost like a lot of weight.
I've been here for 2 years.
Yeah, put on some but I don't look like that.
Nah, but so you don't think early exposure to sexual images messes with your mind at all?
Early exposure to like intentionally sexual images probably does do some type of damage or set up like a dysfunctional relationship with sex that will follow you later. I really don't think that something like, I mean, this is also why, again, we have things like in cursing, they say parental advisory like suggested. You're supposed to watch over your kids and the stuff they consume. Your kids aren't supposed to be finding just random sexual images on the internet. And I don't think a lot of the more sexualized media figures are branding themselves as content for kids.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I was gonna say, I mean, honestly, I think it depends on what the sexual situation or exposure is, right? If you're exposed to some violent ass porn or some wild shit, you know what I'm saying, that might have some kind of effect, you know what I'm saying? If you like come to discover something on your own, right? Like, so how we're mentioning, you know, finding like a stash or something like that. That one is slightly touchy, but like I think it's a little bit better if you come to it on your own and it's not some type of like I said, wild shit. Like I'm trying to think of something very specific, but you know, just like gangbang. You know what I'm saying? You find some gangbang type fucking bukkake shit, it's like, okay, wow, wait a minute, like, what the fuck
What's
is this?
bukkake? Can you explain that for those of us who might not know? Can you explain?
Think of
no,
cinnamon roll with a lot of icing.
I would say look it up, but don't.
But you know what I'm saying? You find some shit like that at like, 10 years old or something, then yeah, that might have.
I think finding even vanilla porn at 10 would probably fuck you up pretty badly. Even like the most bland, right? Passionate shit. I mean, that's the thing about it is a 10-year-old is supposed to be worried about like their sports and then or whatever they do after school, and then girls are supposed to be worried about like either keeping their grades up or their sports, whatever it is. They're not supposed to have any idea what like sexual contact is at that point. So to see like the full-blown thing when their classmates are all saying the birds and the bees, the birds and the bees, the birds and the bees, and they're just like, oh yeah, like you said, gangbang bukkake. That's like they've probably experienced something that will desocialize them from a lot of the kids around them for a lot of their early childhood years and up into adolescence.
And that depends on where you grow up. I want to say that depends.
I mean, yeah, but even then, kids in school aren't typically like I work in a school now. The kids, there are kids who clearly have been exposed to some stuff they shouldn't have seen that will make the jokes in circles among themselves. And there will kids that will overhear and like kind of understand what's going on. But for the most part, if you start slinging vocabulary, like they're not going to understand it. They won't like.
Yeah, like bukkake. You start talking about bukkake in class.
Yeah, but that one kid who has heard of it because he's been exposed, he goes on, says that to a classmate. They're like, what's that? He tells them to look it up. It spreads from there.
Yeah, but I mean, also there's a thin line I think with that too sometimes, because I think sometimes we forget how young we may have even thought of some of these things. I even crossed because like
also finding it.
Well, not always though, right? Like I think it's like a psychological
when did you guys
thing.
Find it? When did you guys find out more about sex?
It's kind of funny. I feel like I always I didn't have any like experience or anything, but I just feel like I always knew. But like the earliest memory I have is watching like HBO late night, and because I used to stay up a lot and watch like scary movies and stuff like that, which I probably shouldn't have watched either, but whatever. And later in the night, that's when some of the freak shit come on, and so I came across shit like real sex and stuff like that, and I'll just be like, huh. And I know I was like, shit, about 10, 11, 12 in that range, if not slightly younger. And I just recall even just having I've always had a really inquisitive brain anyway, and always just thinking of shit. So I remember as early as I can recall just having, just being like, okay, well, what's that? Why is that? What's this down here? I
think that's really different than being 10 and then having the answer, right?
Oh,
okay. I think being 10 and having the question is okay, everyone what the I'm taking a shower.
Yeah, because you start to have that.
Versus oh yeah, I've done this 732 times. That's what's going on, guys. And it's dude, we're 11. Why do you know?
Okay, yeah, because I knew guys like that in middle school who used to be like, oh yeah, shit, I'm talking like they were just, and will make other people feel bad for not fucking. And it's like, aren't we in 6th grade, bro?
When I was in 8th grade,
in 6th or 7th grade. Why should I feel bad that I'm not having sex in 7th grade?
I'm kind of happy. All right, I'm kind of happy. I didn't do a lot of that shit until I got out of high school. Because all my friends who did it in high school, they have a lot of regrets. They were treating sex like an addiction. You know what I mean? Sex became an addiction in them. It's they just kept looking for the feel, the fill in the hole. But after I came, it was I felt like I had more control over my body. But some of my friends who are still addicted to sex because they've been doing it since they're 12 or 13, it's just they don't have stable relationships, or you know what I mean? They're just looking for the next big rush. Sexually.
But I have a friend right now who's coming out of a super toxic relationship situation. When I tell you, this man is going back to his home state in 2 weeks, or even less than that. And after this relationship, he's just on Tinder, on Hinge, and he's just chasing ass. I'm like, bro, You don't even got a crib of your own right now. You have your job, which is dope. You have your car, which is dope. You have a plan to like move soon, but you are currently staying at a hotel dealing with the fact that she just did what she did and said what she said. Do some self work. Like, chill
People
for a
use
bit
sex
and
as
relax.
connection
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's
or
crazy?
for connection. That's really what
If
it is.
you remember when we were like younger, and the ultimate comeback was this, but you won't get no bitches though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Always.
All this to say is that's what your friend is going through. Like, sure he ain't got no money, sure his girl left him, but is he getting bitches?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was happening.
That may
I
be
went
his
to
margin
eighth
for
grade.
success.
That was happening back then. Like kids would actively say to each other, mind you, these are 13, 14-year-olds saying you ain't got no bitches. And then it's like, what's going on?
It's
And
like
then you
literally none of you have
possibility?
bitches.
Oh no, some of them did, and it was awful. It was
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
It was,
yeah,
what the hell are
that's
you
true.
doing? And why?
Yeah.
We are 14 years old, and you're at these firehouse parties doing God knows
What happened to you?
What happened?
Yeah.
But I think
Oh,
also
see, but
like
I remember still like. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry about that. You can go.
I was just gonna say, that made me think. I grew up in a pretty Ricky era.
Oh no.
So we was at the basement parties, hip rolling and ground working. And looking back at that, like shit, it's like shit like that. It's interesting because like it was hyper. It was really fucking freaky as fuck. Now I'm looking back at it, like it was whole ass basically fucking parties, but with clothes on because that was how we was dancing, hip roll and all that. But
See,
it's just
at
like
the time, I always wondered. I'm like, how do people even like? Why? This doesn't sound fun to me. This doesn't sound interesting.
that's basically what you're doing. I mean, it was just the dance, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, also it was like that was at the time of like, oh, if he can, oh girl, he can dance. If you can dance, you can, like. And so it was almost like people was like were like auditioning people to fuck or something. Like
that's.
it
I
was
mean,
like those parties was basically what that was.
seen that way for a long time.
So yeah, that's pretty much what it was. But it's funny because like
the number one meeting spots.
Oh, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, for like one night stands.
Well, not no more. I don't think. Really?
Even
is it still?
If you're going out physically to do something, it's still nightclubs. It's still bars. That's still like the primary nightlife people use to hook up.
I won't lie. I've seen people walk in bathrooms like boys and girls together.
Yeah.
They just really met each other.
Wedding, a small venue. I like try to open one of the doors, and I'm just like, I back out so quick. And mind you, this is a true story. This is a wedding I went to like not even 3 years ago now, where there's maybe 120 people there. Not the biggest wedding of all time. Not exactly small, but not the largest either. And you just see them plowing in the bathroom, and it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go shit in the other one, I guess.
Cool.
It's like that, man. But also, let's get to objectification, right?
Oh, that's a fun one.
So I believe at one point, I think I used to. So we all found our stashes, right? And we were born poorly. We were born near the internet age, so our stashes just got immense. We have virtual. Everyone's a virtual stash now. And I think it did, like, just seeing a lot of it just definitely made me more so objectify women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the nature of the thing.
I was just like, yo, like, cheeks, bitches, cheeks. Those are cheeks.
I mean, opposite, but yes, for me.
It took me, like let's say when I was like 25, and I was like 25, I was like, wow, they have their own thoughts, emotions, their own spirits, their own souls. They make their own choices.
Yeah, crazy how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
And my life, getting in their life does not dictate their life.
Oh shit, they be living.
that's literally just how it happens. It's why early introduction is so bad, because you don't see like the girl you have a crush on in school as like, okay, well, I'm just supposed to like have those feelings for her. When when it goes beyond that, and you're used to like your stash, you're used to the objectification already. That's where those people that you guys are talking about, like, you get no bitches. This kid's probably ran into porn pretty early.
I actually see it the opposite of that one too, because like young fucking gay or whatever, and I used to hang on a lot of women, but like I don't know if I knew, but I just didn't say anything about it. So some people would speculate, some people wouldn't. And again, you know, I would hang out with a lot of girls, and niggas would be like, "Damn, he got the hoes, you got the hoes." I'm like, all right, sure. Like,
yo, no, I am the hoe.
like, I'm not. I mean, I definitely had a phase. If we can go there, but
That's
but yeah, I think for me, I mean, I kind of the way that I objectified it was, you know, I more so objectified men, but it was just like I wasn't able to have friendships with gay men for a while because I just want to fuck all of them. So, it's another one. Hey, we can do it. Fuck yeah! Like I wasn't.
You got a
know, kind of the same.
Hold. Jesus.
It's kind of like when you listen to a little Nas X song and hear him objectify.
I guess, even though I wouldn't listen to one, but yeah.
He said, quote unquote, this man said, quote unquote, when I was in the car, I was with my friend, she was listening to it, quote unquote, little nigga, I'm trying to fuck.
I mean, and that's pretty much what it was for a while, and I had to like,
I'm like, yo, hey, yo.
Everybody isn't.
You heard what he said to Jack Harlow? You told Jack Harlow, if you let me, I would fuck.
Oh, probably if they haven't already.
Literally 2 mornings ago, I woke up with a video of a butthole in my DMs, bro. Like, yo, why are women not this bold? Like, I ain't even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna say it. But I open my phone and I'm just like, la 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 la, Instagram. Well, God fucking damn it. There it is again.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't get that. Thank God.
It's not a cute advertisement, guys. It's truly, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is for some. Maybe they've had success.
For some. But I was about to say, I'd imagine there's some who are like, oh shit, like, but not
even,
for the vast
even
majority.
The girl I've been intimate with, I can't imagine sending her, well, not my butthole, but still, I can't imagine just sending a nude and then it being like, yes, come over now. I've ordered your Uber. It'll be there in 22 minutes. Like, oh, all right.
But I've also been the random nude guy too. I've been on both ends of that.
You slut.
Not recently. It was years ago.
Uh-huh.
Back in the phase, you know, back during the whole phase.
6 months is not a year; it's half a year.
Listen, it was like half my 20s.
Damn.
Hey, I'm 31 now. I said 20s. We good. We grown now. little less hoish.
Little less X.
Well, have you ever all right, you objectifying other people, have you ever been called out for sexual harassment? Or do you think it involves sexual violence or being sexually aggressive?
I think the biggest thing is
aggressively flirting.
Any objectification falls under the same umbrella as pretty much anything sexual. As long as it's between adults and they're both consenting, it's usually okay.
But the harassment part, have you ever
it's okay, so I don't want to say harassment, but I've aggressively flirted with a straight person or two before. And I had to be like, hey,
for me, I
cool, chill out.
The courage to even be overt with people that are if I'm at a club or something, I've never had the experience of oh man, I'm just gonna take you to the bathroom. I've never been able to be that person. I've been told before that I talk too much in the lead up. So for me, it's, especially as an adult, it's super duper important to run consent every step of the way for me. And then after a while, when there's implied consent, as long as no one withdraws that and says I'm no longer interested, after that point, it's usually all game.
So they also, all right, so have you ever glared at somebody and made them feel uncomfortable?
God, no, not that I've ever I've glared at people. I've definitely okay. Yeah. But as far as being called for it, or I tend to not make it in such a way that it's overtly disrespectful. If people are gonna look, people look at you, people look at me, it happens, whatever. It's really, really weird when it's what are you gonna do about it?
Okay, so this is perfect because it's kind of it was a drunk thing. I don't do it as much anymore, but first off, eye contact was my part of my arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Like that look, once and if we catch it, like, okay, I'm on you. And so I've definitely, like, when I say, been called out for like aggressively flirting with like a straight guy or something. It was like, it was because I was drunk. And so I've definitely done like the eye contact thing. I'm just like looking, like, and this one guy was just like, yeah, I mean, I'm not really, like that. So
I've been looking back at you for 4 seconds and I already know I'm naked in your mind. Stop it.
But yeah, I mean, and honestly, I might have made him feel uncomfortable. He didn't really hang around us as much anymore. So I don't know. So I guess technically I have, but I was like,
he probably told everybody,
my bad. I didn't mean to. Yeah, oh yeah, he definitely mentioned it. And I was like, okay, see, I don't like that. Hey, but it's fine. It's fine. We all learned a long time ago, but still, yeah.
Ooh, I got a good one. So I've actually seen like this in like real life too. So you remember the whole Sukiyana thing when people were just trying to grab her, and in her mind they think she's a hoe, so it's okay to do that. So they're already sexualized a hoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, grown men know that even hoes require consent before you fuck around with them.
But some guys don't get it, I guess. But there's so many people I've seen in like my lifetime that be quote unquote hoes that was like, nah, nigga.
That's how it goes. Even the most sexually promiscuous woman in like a college is probably not going to be comfortable with you just kind of like walking up and like, hey, so I've heard you've had sex with like 73% of the guys in the school. Can I be 73%? And it's like, bro.
It's like just because I'm sexual don't mean I want to be sexual with you or like I'm required to be.
I don't know. I've hurt my feelings.
I mean that's the ego thing, but it makes sense.
The conversation that's where they're like, oh, well, damn, she is easy. The conversation is where that comes in. You don't just like grab them. Like, that's not how it works. You have the conversation, you realize, oh, she's like super down. Oh, I'm also super down. Things are happening, and then there you go. Versus like, oh, I've heard that she's had, again, slept with like 70% of the guys at the school, and then like grabbing her ass in the hallway. Like, it's literally not a porno. She's not going to turn around and drop her pants right there. She's probably stressing about school, stressing about work, whatever it is.
But it's crazy. That's actually happened though. People have like done that just off of assumptions.
Yeah, and it's super cringe when people do that. I think it ruins it for the rest of us.
Yeah. Just to hop back on the early part of early exposure, that's another part. Porn scenarios. For some people,
Pizza Man.
I'll say that. I'm gonna say something. Most people, it puts unrealistic expectations on sex. Or like, you get like these wild ass things that you think are gonna happen. Like sometimes I can hold you up. I've been in some actual sexual situations. I was like, oh, this is like some movie shit, but not always. And I think when you're exposed a little bit, you have those ideas in your mind. Everything almost becomes like, the situation or the porn plot. And now you try to do what the fuck you saw, or try to make what you saw come true.
But it's like it never happens, and now it's below your standard, and you're not satisfied because you bought the pizza over to the lady you've been crushing on top,
and she didn't want to fuck.
Yeah, you asked to use the bathroom. She let you use the bathroom, and nothing happened. She just escorted you out.
Pizza box, bro.
She didn't want extra sausage, and now you just sitting there looking stupid.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of a scenario that I experienced because I was exposed pretty early too. The first time I got detention, I was just like, "Oh, game on." But it's like, oh god, that's not how this works. It's literally not how that works.
This isn't gonna happen.
You have to grow up. You have to, and it's when you do go through that kind of stuff, when you are especially younger, it is really, really important to get help as soon as possible, because the sooner you get the help, the sooner you can actually work through, okay, it's not normal for a brain to operate like that. It's not normal, even in adulthood, to think about sex all the time. If you're like getting a one-on-one meeting with a boss because you showed up late too many times, it's not going to go the way that you think it is based on like Coomer brain.
Yeah. That's so okay. So actually, I had a conversation recently. I think that the problem comes in because I think even subconsciously, I think maybe we think about sex at least like maybe 60-70%.
of the day.
But it's a matter of doing something about it that becomes a problem because you don't always have to do something about it. It's just like,
I
yeah,
think
because
it's
like I
really
mean,
hard
sometimes our
to
body
kind of
is
control
subconsciously
you.
stimulated without even meaning to, you know, like we go to the bathroom and hold ourselves, you know, like we put shit in our mouth, like lick our lips, and you know what I'm saying? Like we're constantly stimulated. So it's like something that I think can cross your mind subconsciously or comes to your mind, but I think the issue comes in when you're constantly needing to do something about it. But I think we
I
are
think
like,
even if the thoughts are impulsive enough, or if the thoughts are intrusive enough, not even impulsive, but if they are like intrusive enough, I can imagine you could classify it as a problem. At the point where
oh
it's
yeah,
like
okay,
60 to
intrusive.
70%, I would definitely say get some help. Like,
Really?
yes,
Okay.
if you're
So, I
at
mean, my
work
percentage might be off,
using
but
grandma's
like,
oatmeal, and then you're just like, dang it, grandma,
damn.
it's not you, I promise. Like, no, it's not going to be a good time. That's not. Or you're at a funeral, and it's just like, oh man, I really miss my uncle, and then okay, that's
Okay, but then like, okay, so there should not have been stimulation there. So yes, but okay,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
I
like
really want to
most of
study
the time
that
there
though.
probably shouldn't be stimulation.
Yeah.
Most of the time you probably shouldn't be like sexually stimulated. If you're attracted to somebody at the job per se, and it's like, damn, the hell, when I was I recently went to the art museum, and there was a really really pretty security guard there, and I'm like, oh, all right, but it doesn't mean I'm out here like. Bring me that
Where she
ass.
at?
Like
Fuck yeah.
it's not like that. You can
I
see
gotta
people
tell you
in
something.
art
Be
and
careful with
move through
security
that.
guards.
Oh
Security
no,
guards
I
are the
ain't gotta
most
be told
toxic,
that, believe me.
are the most toxic women ever. That's a red flag. Just being security guard.
Oh shit. Wow. That's
I need
interesting. I
an
didn't know that.
elaboration.
Yeah, I've seen so many security guards get in fights and then also like get in trouble off of just dating at the workplace or dating people that get mad at them and just come to the workplace.
Don't shit where you eat, my
I
guy.
mean, I would say yeah. That's just yeah. Pretty
I was
much.
just like, yo, just leave these security guards alone. Leave them alone. But also like, let's say relationship problems. I think if one thing I could say, I had some thoughts, right? Let's say you scroll on Instagram. Instagram is every man's argument eventually. You like a picture wrong, your significant other gets jealous, like, yo, is this what you into? Yes, actually, yes. So like it makes you realize that there's always going to be better out there, per se, right? So you start to not be so committed to your relationship. You're starting to give away from your relationship because you always think you can do better. And I think that's when like over sexualization, or sexualizing everything can get unhealthy.
I mean, because you want to fuck everything out there. You just like, oh, look at
Exactly.
that. But it's always gonna be. I mean, I just think that was it. Andre 3000. Either him or Will Smith. One of them they came to mind. If not both of them said it. But it's always gonna be somebody, you know, smarter, funnier, taller, stronger, whatever the fuck. So you just kind of have to get over that. That's not gonna go away. Everybody's gonna be different. I think the biggest thing, because that's always been a thing, is now you just can see it. Now you can go see the better. Or not even the better, but like the taller. Now you can go see the thicker. Now you can go see the shorter, the freakier or whatever. But it's like, so what?
Yeah, how long have
That's
people been
like,
saying the grass is greener on the other side?
Yep.
Like this is a lesson we should have long learned by now. So I mean, the problem isn't really like, okay, well, I look at my Instagram, there's a lot of attractive people there. That's not the worst thing. If you are in a relationship with somebody and it's like a closed relationship, monogamous one specifically, you're like scrolling through Instagram, you're like tap, please respond, tap, please respond, tap, please respond. I sent a picture of my PP, please respond. Like,
oh, fuck.
if that's the experience that you're having, it's probably causing problems. But again, this is like 90% internal, how you deal with it within yourself, and then how the systems around you helped you to deal with it when you were asking for assistance with it. It's never like, oh man, Meg the Stallion posted, here we go again, unzip. Like it's not her fault.
Gotta take care of it. Yeah.
All right, but
agreed.
so you never had any relationship problems, like because you be glaring at women all the
I
time.
had the problems, but what I'm saying is it's my responsibility.
I see what you said.
That's all.
Personally, I haven't. Honestly, I have like a very. It takes a lot for me to like really, really, really get serious about somebody. So once I get there, like I genuinely can't see anybody else. Like, I might think like, oh, hey, he's cute, but I'm not. I don't really
touch
see
me, I'm sterile.
Like, yeah.
Man. So workplaces, right? I think like over sexualization can harm you in the workplace.
Oh hell yeah.
Especially like
Oh yeah.
because you're like already stimulated from it. You're looking at all your coworkers crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think over-sexualization as a social concept is a very different thing than sex addiction, though. And it sounds like you conflate the two when you say things like that. If you come to work with a sex addiction, yeah, you're probably going to have a bad time no matter what job you work at. But if you go into work and it's like you work in a strip club and it's like, oh man, this place is over-sexualized, it's a strip club, right? I don't think you're going to walk into an office building and women are being incentivized to dress like super duper skimpy because it improves the performance of male coworkers or anything like that. And God, somebody drop a source if it's false, because
I think also like I mean more so like let's say going back to like pretty privilege, right? Sometimes if we like focus more so on beauty and attractiveness, right, we might pick someone who may be more beautiful for a role that they may not be as qualified for. Like,
this is because of predatory men. The woman not being qualified for the job does not excuse the guy getting hard and then saying, I need that.
I'm gonna say it's also not your fault if you get turned on by her at work. Like, that's not her fault.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an introductory to how to not treat women like an asshole guide. Like that's really what this sounds like to me, because it's like, all right, well, what if your boss hires that one secretary just because she looks good? He's probably an asshole. Nothing to do with her. He's probably an asshole. She applied for the
job. And if you're turned on, it's not her fault.
Now, you know what's crazy? Like being over just analyzing things sexually all the time is an asshole trait.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is if a woman gets pulled over at by a cop, then she's just like, so anything we can do to reduce that ticket? That flips it, right? That's no longer a man using his power or position over a woman to try and exact some kind of control. It's now the woman who's using her sexuality to try and get out of something or avoid responsibility. It does happen in either direction, but I think cops are usually a little less like upset about that than like women are being used by their bosses and such.
Mm. I can see that.
Not to measure the pain. Both are unfair. Both are unjust. You probably shouldn't be flashing your titties at cops. You probably shouldn't be flashing your titties at anybody.
What if it's like a Jehovah's Witness cop?
Then yeah, it's probably wrong. It's probably wrong regardless. But what I'm saying is that it's probably a little bit less of like a harm. Still harmful, but less of a harm than a man saying, "Oh, you're like cute, but I don't think you're suitable for the role because she's really cute." But like that, I think that's a little more harmful, because then you're messing around with people getting jobs, people securing futures for themselves.
That's what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
That's funny. I was just gonna say, as far as the workplace thing, and I think you broke that down real good. My mind was immediately going to just like not fucking with people at the workplace, because I've learned that lesson the hard way, but totally different thing.
Sure, I think you got problems on the dating team, man.
It sounds like he's working through them. Okay.
Yes, I want to say I am literally working through them. That was all my 20s. That's the point of Love Journal. Thank you. Exactly. That's why I'm doing Love Journal. It's like my way to clear up and get all that shit out.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun.
Yes, I'm gonna hit you up too. I've been like trying to like schedule a bunch of shit this month, so I got you. But yeah, don't fuck around at the workplace, people. Don't do it. Some shit happened at my house that got back to the job, and I was like, how the fuck? How I'm getting pulled into the office for some shit to happen at my house.
Like, so Troy, we heard you're out here being another Dwight Howard.
Okay, first off, I would never. I'm always gonna let you know if it's a threesome.
Your coworker said that you let him in your home, and out of nowhere there's a guy in Kitten Hills.
in a big dress. He was in a big dress.
Yo, that's a crazy scenario. I'm like, come on, Dwight. Dwight's headline is "I'm not gay, I'm freaky."
Surprise. You can't
like,
surprise somebody with a threesome. Like,
surprise!
I don't know. I don't think a lot of people will accept that. Like,
I think you need to. So that's the thing about some surprises. Even a proposal has to be a certain kind of surprise. It needs to be a surprise that's predictable. If someone is like, okay, we've never ever talked about a threesome before. They've never even alluded to the idea. They tend to be super possessive and catty about me even like looking at other women. Showing up and just being like, here's another woman for the bedroom. Probably not the best idea. But if you've talked about it before, you've said like, hey, that's something I might do for your birthday or for like an occasion. And then she's been talking about it. Like, that's okay. But again, it's just the difference between a predictable surprise and something that someone had, like a true surprise, so to speak. Someone had no idea the shit was coming.
Yeah, I see what you're saying because, like, I won't lie. We only went to go get coffee, and out of nowhere, you know, like you in my crib, you snuck through the window. I said because I like surprises, and you just in my bed. I was like, all right, I gotta call the cops.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the best surprise. Sounds a little more like a horror movie.
I'll still feel weird if somebody called me baby after the first date.
Really?
I don't know. I don't trust it.
To me, it depends how that first date went.
Yeah.
How it ended specifically.
We have not talked this much.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently, this is on my list too. One of the things we're gonna finish up with. We're almost there, guys. Educational impact. Some of us care too much about dating and looking good, and it can impact us on our focus in school.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm like, is there a question? That's probably true.
So, like, do you feel like some people actually like prioritize looking good and dating over their own education at some points?
So I don't think it's necessarily even that it gets prioritized, but it makes sense in a way. If you die tomorrow, no one's really going to remember it. Like, people will remember you went to college or whatever. It'll be a part of like who you are, but that's not like necessarily the internal experience of having loved someone. Mm-hmm. So we're almost constantly going to be in a position of not even seeking out relationships, but if one falls into place and it's like, hey, this feels nice, it's nice to spend time, to have someone to go through your life with, it's always going to be a good thing to have, whether you're homeless or whether you're the richest guy on the planet. So, I mean, it makes sense that people stress over it for a long time, pretty much forever.
That's what I'm saying. I think from my experience, I have sometimes distracted myself with dating when I should be doing schoolwork.
Oh, interesting. No, yeah. See, all right. So I'm lucky. I always look at it like that because I grew up ugly. I was like the ugly duckling. So I didn't do a lot of fucking dating. I didn't care about it because I wasn't necessarily an option. And then like also trying to be like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, I had no idea how to get to half of the guys I wanted to. So it just wasn't on my radar for a long time. And that left room for me to actually focus on my studies and actually focus on like art and honing a lot of my skills and crafts. And I was just like, cool. And then by the time I graduated, I started getting cute. And then people started like looking at me. I was like, I don't know what the fuck. I have no idea how to do any of this.
Like, it's not my fault.
What's this about? So, but it was like, I think that helped me, but I could see where, I also saw the opposite side. Like my big brother, like two of my older brothers, they're like super fine ass niggas. We went to the same school, so everybody used to be like, "Oh, all of them." I'd be like, "That's your brother?" Like, Detroit. Honestly, I'm from Detroit. Like that's why I grew up. I'm in Arizona now, but
I think it went over your
head. Troy, okay. I might actually next year. I might come and visit. I gotta go visit a girl over there. So yeah, by default, I'll be in your town, in neck of the woods, Arizona. I think it's not Sedona. I gotta figure it out. It's
you getting doxxed. My boy's telling him where you live.
Let's say
So go and visit
I
them.
know
See if
the
it feels
spot I
true to
might be
yourself.
visiting is like 45 minutes from Las Vegas. She said. I don't know where it is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me know.
I don't know how close you are to Las Vegas, but I'll be close.
4 hours. I've been to Vegas
Okay,
a couple
bet.
times. It's a quick little 4-hour trip. But yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I saw like my brother like be the opposite in school, and he didn't honestly do too much work to be attractive, which I laugh at now because now it's starting to go, haha, that's what you get. But you know, he like had the hoes, quote unquote. So you know what I'm saying? Like his focus was dating and hanging out. His academics slipped like a bitch, and like he was like one of the best like artists I've ever seen, and that slipped. You know what I'm saying? Because his focus became the dating and being that guy. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, I've seen both sides of the spectrum, and I think it would be good to have maybe a good balance. You know what I'm saying? I think because again, I got to a point where I had no fucking idea what even how to date or what I should do, not do, like completely oblivious. Versus someone who knows all, or I'm gonna say knows all about it, but their entire being is about it. You know?
I feel like you. I see what you're saying. A lot of people they front load the dating, and eventually they settle down. Eventually they figure out what they want to do for a career. Listen, I thought I was ugly too for many years. I think I found I was attractive like age 28. So I'm still learning. Like 5 years
I was
ago.
cute when I was a kid, and then I was cute in my teenage years. I was just socially awkward. Like,
Damn.
that was my primary thing. So people would be like, "You're really cute. You just hang out with the wrong people," and I'm just like, "Damn, I don't hang out with nobody. What you mean?" That was like my experience at the time. And who you hung out with when you're like in like the end of middle school all the way up through high school. Your
High school,
clique
that
determines
matters.
so much about who talks to you.
Oh yeah,
that's so true.
That's the good thing. I had a personality, and I was like
Ouch.
I could like bounce around. Of
that was my thing. I dabbled with every group, but I was like, after spending an elongated period of time with any of them, I'm just like, God, I don't like any of these people.
Yeah, like I could go and be at like the quote unquote nerds table, and then go to the artsy table, and go to the cool kids, and like just kind of mix and mingle a little bit. But I never like I had like my main like 2 or 3 friends, but you know, the personality kept me on top.
Okay.
Our last video, social dynamics. We want to talk about social dynamics. So, when society is all about sex appeal, it can lead to people not being treated equally. Have you ever seen someone get treated better than you, even as like a guy? You're like, damn, what am I like, chopped liver?
My brothers, literally my brothers. I had a girl say, "Damn, what happened to you? That's your brother." It was like, "Oh, bitch, nothing happened to me. Fuck you. Kids are awful." It's something I had to like deal with because I was also like the dark skin one. Yeah, like I was like the dark skin one out of my brothers. You know what I'm saying? So it was like dealing with that, and like they all had braids. I had like the shirt cut my whole like it was like little shit that like I had to. That differentiated me from them that I had to grow to accept. But used to like really like get me like and then I was also like the fat one. I was the fat one, I was the black one, I was the bald one. It was like, what the fuck?
Damn, you're not winning there, bro. I think
I didn't win at all, and that's why I'm winning now. And that motherfucker's looks is going. But I love
my story was this. I totally survived, right? So we're in middle school at this point, about to go to high school, right? And my friends just started dating a girl. I started dating someone as well. And so our friend, we know my friend just is dating a crazy John, but we don't know she a hoe yet either. We don't know she a hoe yet. But I remember they were arguing or were getting in fights a lot. And I don't know what's wrong with me as a child. I don't know, somebody like ruined my brain or something and ruined my life. I was just a villain. I became a villain. I was such a sweet kid, and eventually I just got a villain. So out of nowhere, I pull out like a condom. I slap her in the face with a whole condom like Indiana Jones. She doesn't chase me. She chases him with a knife. So he ran like half a mile. Her chasing a knife, And I still haven't gotten in trouble for it.
I mean, what do you think's gonna happen?
Lucky.
She's like, she shows up at your crib. I still got the knife.
Right? Well, she afterwards,
I know what she did
hit on
8
me
years
a lot.
ago.
Like, dude. Yeah, I got away with a lot of stuff.
This is really scary.
It happens.
You stop there.
It really happened. Like, she chased my ugly friend down the street with a knife.
Shit.
Okay. I don't know how to respond to this.
Yeah, because my thinking is like, what is like is I'm thinking like she mad because she think he told you a story about something or something. And she like,
oh yeah, maybe I
choked on that condom. Like,
yo, maybe she started using condoms. Maybe she got a problem not using them.
Look, she started chasing her friend because that was the night she discovered she was allergic to latex.
How the hell did you know?
Yeah, it burns.
I can smell people's allergies. That's how I know.
What the hell?
Ew.
You ever smell somebody allergic to wheat and you just know it?
Damn.
It's like you've never had bread in your life. Sad as fuck. This is horrible. Let me stop. First thing to help.
That sounds so sad.
Yo,
so
man.
Where are you going?
Anyway.
Yo.
Oh my god. So let's address the issue, though, right? Is there really an issue?
I don't find there to be an issue. No, the issue is when parents fail to like parent their kids and stop them from running into content they shouldn't see. We also shouldn't have kids like actively watching super scary, bloody horror movies and stuff. But you know, that's also fine somehow.
Hey, they need to know the rules early, okay? Because I refuse to have a horror movie child. Have you ever seen kids in horror movies? They fuck up everything. They don't fucking know anything. They're stupid. And not in real life, but only in horror movie scenarios. And I'll be damned if I have a son, a daughter, or a nephew or something, and we in some scary movie type scenario, and they do some bullshit, and I die. No. They need to know the rules early.
If you're scared of horror movies, you can't be in my survival party at the end of the world. Can't happen.
I believe in I believe like at oversexualization, like if you are gonna, I believe it can happen. But I also believe it, like I think the parents need to watch out for it. And as a kid or whatever you are, a teenager or adult, you just gotta be careful, like getting trapped in it. You know what I mean? And just getting addicted to all those images. And just don't let that shit become the norm, you know?
You have to control your algorithm if that's a problem that you experience as a dude. There was a while where I actually took breaks from like entire social media platforms because I was like, all right, I can't fix my algorithm well enough. I don't know how to do it yet. So I would still respond to messages, especially and stuff, Twitter. But I wouldn't scroll the feed at all. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of them are like, if you end up in the wrong algorithms, you will stay there for a while. And then people comment on the stuff like, oh my God, why am I getting this in my feed? You're commenting on it. So they're going to think you want to engage with this kind of stuff. That's why that's happening.
Dumbass. Yeah. I'll say I agree with everything as far as, parents raising the child. But I do have to say there is a balance with that because you also have to watch out. Like with parents, I think when it steps into the gay realm, you have to watch sexualizing your kids yourself before they have even really, started to try to understand or anything. So, and I don't know exactly what that is, but just finding that balance, you know what I'm saying? Because like, just, I guess, for example, when I was hearing something, a podcast or something recently, and I recall myself knowing I was gay as early as like, I don't know, like 10 or 11, just about, you know what I'm saying? Like not necessarily gay in the sense of knowing exactly what that meant sexually, but knowing that I didn't look at girls the same as other guys did or other boys did, and knowing that I was looking at guys in that same way that they were looking at girls, so that was all I knew. And so when some parents try to, I guess, educate or monitor or whatever the case is, they can very easily make it kind of creepy or gross. So just watch sexualizing your kids before they are sexual themselves. Oftentimes, they're not even thinking about the act itself. It's just, oh, I like this. I like him.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah, that's
and it's just a response to the body.
Yeah.
That leads
well, just just to watch, like if you definitely, yeah, go ahead.
It's having the conversation about like what those feelings mean, but then if you're like looking at your kid and they're scrolling on TikTok, and it's nothing but like adult style dance videos on their TikTok feed, that's a little bit much. But if it's like, hey, I think I have feelings for Johnny across the hallway in the other room in school, that's like an entirely different scenario where I don't think you need to worry about over-sexualization. You just need to talk about what feelings are at that point.
Or just my other thought real quick too, when some guys find out that they're having a girl and they're like immediately, oh my God, no. And it's like, you're gross because your mind is immediately thinking of all the shit that you've done to girls. And you're like going into what the fuck she's about to do in her bedroom. She hasn't even born yet. Like,
I'm in that, bro.
Chill the fuck out.
But you show up to her kindergarten with a shotgun. Like, if any of you boys even look at my daughter funny, dude, we're two.
It's like, I just handed her a graham cracker. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, giving my girl no crackers. I know what that means.
You trying to bribe her, do weird stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, just watch that if when you're teaching your children, are monitoring their views and stuff. Also, let them watch horror movies at 4 years old. That's the youngest.
All right, guys. I really appreciate you for doing this episode about how not to be a douchebag or asshole to women, or of the opposite or same sex in this future. Or anyone you're looking at in a sexual way, don't be an asshole to them.
Yeah,
I learned so much today.
They exist.
They exist. They have their own soul, their own thoughts, their own everything, and they're not just a sexual object for your entertainment. So treat them like a person. Welcome to our treating like a person 101 class. Anyways, any last words, guys? Where can we find y'all?
Oh, what's we doing? Closing statements or
let's do some closing statements.
Do you want to go first, Roy? Do you have yours?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Keep your individualism. Try your best. I know, and it's very, very easy to get wrapped up in sex, and especially like you were mentioning, kids in school always try to play it off like they're fucking so much. Because also too, there are some that aren't doing that shit that much, and they're just trying to make you feel, bad to fit in. Mm-hmm. It's very simple, very easy to do. It happens, but just don't ever lose sight of you. Really, just try your best. Even as an adult, like I said, everybody's body don't work the same. Just because her BBL came out right, don't mean yours is. You might be allergic to some shit. Like, just get more into you. That's it.
Yeah, I'll flip the coin and give the not extreme side of that. But guys, don't be Coomer brained, and your life will improve. Like if you go outside and it's like, all right, I'm sleeping with somebody today. Like stop. If you go to work and you see a coworker and you're like, I'm going home with her today. Like cut it out. That's not okay. Pursue real stuff in your life. Sex is great. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree. It's one of my favorite things to participate in. One of my favorite things to do. But it is not something that you should be literally driving yourself to hell over. You shouldn't be getting into relationships with people that you don't belong with over having sex. Just keep your shit clear. Keep your head clear. Keep your body clear of anything that might be consequential of sex. Don't get nobody pregnant. Just relax, and it will come as soon as you're ready. That is a pun.
Well, anyway, guys, thank you all for viewing. How can we find y'all?
I mean, if you want to find my regular page, Sugar Troy D, or Troy Ryan, Troy D Ryan, and then Man of Horror _podcast and Love Journal _podcast.
Man of Horrors.
See, every time it's my accent, Man of Horror, like scary movies. I'm not a Man of Horrors anymore. No more Man of Horrors.
Mine's super simple. You can follow me on Instagram at Afromortis. It's AFROMORTIS. You can follow me over there on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Afromortis. And my podcast, my team, is As the Culture Turns. All one word, primarily on Instagram and YouTube.
Bet. All right, guys. So next topic next week is going to be Movember. We're going to be talking about all men health, men empowerment, men everything.
Hey.
So I'm trying to recruit a bunch of men, up to 8 men. So if anyone who's watching wants to be part of this live stream next
Sausage
week,
fest.
let me know.
Sausage fest. All the way. Goodness gracious. We need one
my fave.